So I've finally pulled the trigger on the lens that I've always wanted. And ladies and gentlemen, I have the RF 15-35 and do I love this lens. Up until this point, I've been using the 16-35 f4 image stabilized. It's a great lens, but nothing beats that f2.8. With that being said, the reason I did choose the 16-35 f4 image stabilized was because of the image stabilization, because I thought I would be using that lens mostly for vlogging and all that. And the difference between f4 and f2.8, yes, there's a difference, but with that wide of an angle, you're not really going to see much of a difference. And then came the RF 15-35 f2.8 image stabilized, the best of both worlds. So the only really big negative to this lens is the hefty price tag. It's an expensive lens. Here in Australia, it goes for like over 3,000, almost even 4,000, depends where you get it. It's a really expensive lens, and that's part of the reason why I haven't had this lens until now. Whew. To all Australians, can you please turn down the temperature of your country? It is so hot here. In case you're unaware, Perth is a breeding ground for great white sharks, so yeah, the more you know. I definitely think twice about taking a surf here because I'm probably putting my life on the line. So since this lens was so expensive, I ended up selling a couple different lenses. Well, pretty much all of my lenses. My 16-35 I still have, but that's going to be up on the market soon. So if you live in Perth and you want a 16-35 f4, hit me up. I find for me personally, what works the best for my creativity is actually minimalizing the amount of gear that I have. I actually had the budget to get a few different lenses, a drone, and a gimbal, but I decided just to stick with just this lens because I knew if I had all of these different things, it'd actually get in the way rather than help me tell a better story. Now, I know that's not the case for everybody, but I find for me, being as minimal as I can when I'm trying to create or tell a story, it really, really helps me just focus more on the story rather than getting the best shot. So I'm really curious to see what's in my camera bag at the end of this year comparative to the end of last year. Because I'm really loving this minimalizing thing, not just for camera gear and camera stuff, but also just everything in my life, like clothes, things around the house, all of that, including my family. We're all really loving this whole minimalist kind of mindset. So if I was choosing this to be my only lens, why did I choose the RF 15-35 when there's just so many different good lenses out there? The answer is actually quite simple. Most of the content that I make, about like 99% of it, I'm filming myself, so having a wide angle lens for like vlogging or anything like that really seems to be the most beneficial kind of lens for me personally. I also find being able just to zoom right into 35mm is really good for any kind of short films that I want to create, especially, you know, with it being at f2.8. Yeah, it's not the RF 35 1.8, but it's still good. And essentially, you don't want to rely on just a lens to tell a story. Obviously, different types of lenses are good for portraying different types of emotions, but I find the 15-35 range to portray all the emotions that I would like to get across in any kind of short film or vlog. With that being said, I do love the magic sauce that telephoto lenses bring, like my RF 85 that I had. Amazing. I just didn't find myself using it as much as I thought I would. It was kind of just sitting there waiting to be used the whole time. I can understand if you're doing client work and that job may require you to use different types of lenses and things like that, but I think for your own personal use, I would challenge you to try using maybe one lens for an entire month and see all the different possibilities you can get with just using that single lens. By doing that, you'll probably find that you're less in your head and more in your creative space, let's say, to create better things because you're not getting in your way of thinking what lens is going to get this shot the best. You're just focusing on the shot. This alleyway stinks really bad, so I'm going to get out of here. I'm like very close to vomiting. I'm on a Ferris wheel. So one thing I've definitely noticed about this lens is the wobble. With my 16 mil, didn't notice it at all. So it's definitely the 15 mil where you're gonna see, you know, the ibis wobbles. But you can, you know, zoom it in a little bit. Probably get rid of most of the wobbles. But I like that 15 mil. I gotta go with the 15 mil. I personally find the wobble not to really bother me that much. So it's not a big deal breaker for me, but for some of you, it might be. I love Ferris wheels. Now check this out. Ready for this? I still got it. Here we go. I'm a VIP member for this Ferris wheel. If you ever want to take a ride on Fremantle's Ferris wheel, just, you know, hit me up. I got that VIP card. I definitely plan on doing a full review on this lens, but I've only just started using it. I got it like 5 days ago and didn't get to use it that much because of a bunch of things going on in my life, but I'm finally starting to use it, so give me like a couple weeks and I'll put a review out on this lens. But I do have something pretty awesome in the works right now, a short film that is pretty meaningful to me, so stay tuned for that. I'm gonna take a selfie of myself in this Ferris wheel and send it to my wife so she can make fun of me for being in a Ferris wheel by myself. There we go. So if you guys were to stick with a single lens, what lens would it be? I'm really curious. Comment down below and let's chat. All right, I better get back to my car before I get a parking ticket. Ferris wheel took a little bit longer than I thought. It feels good to downsize my gear. I already feel my creativity starting to flourish more. Starting to flourish. However you say it. I'm no longer getting in my own head about what lens I need to use, if I need a gimbal, if I need this or that. I have one lens, one camera, and that record button, and that's it. And I'm so happy about that. At least for now. Maybe in the future, I'll maybe get the RF 70 to 200, but I think that's kind of down the track. For now, I'm just sticking with the RF 15 to 35 and try to keep it simple so I can tell better stories. So I just want to say farewell to the 16 to 35 f4. It's treated me well. It's done an amazing job. Still an amazing quality lens. But I was dating this lens. I think this RF 15 to 35 will be the first lens that I actually marry. They say marry your lenses and date your camera bodies, but I've been dating a lot of lenses, but now I feel committed to a lens finally. So thank you, and yeah, we'll never see you again. Actually, I'll have one more video with this comparing the two, but yeah, let's just say bye for now. All right, I'm gonna call it there. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace. Oh, also got a new podcast mic, so fun things are happening.